Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a tutorial showing you guys how to set up a Hangouts meet with your students. And there are a couple ways to do this, but the way that we did the department meetings before, where we gave you a code, we told you to go to a website, and we told you to join, you can do it that way, but it's going to be more likely that students will have a problem joining, just because it requires all of those steps. So to do this in the easiest way possible for your students, I wanted to show you how to set this up through Google Calendar. So as you can see in my calendar, I have different events here, and each of these colors that you see on the left-hand side pertains to a particular class. So the orange here is for my TOK 12 class, and the purple or lilac is for my TOK 11 class. So if I want to set up an event that will be linked to a Hangouts meet, what I want to do is create an event. So I just click on there. But the most important thing you can do to make sure this gets onto students' calendars is that when I do this, I need to make sure, by default, this is automatically going to be set to go on my calendar. Your calendars are not shared with the students. So this is your personal calendar for your school account. So what I need to do is decide which one of the calendars this is going to go onto. So this is a video conference for me for TOK 11th, for example. I need to select that. That way this event, when I'm done, will be posted to the calendar for 11th grade. Next thing I need to do is press More Options down here at the bottom. And I have all these options here. So a lot of these you don't need to worry about, but where this says Add Conferencing, if I click on that, the option I get is Hangouts Meet. Now, if you are using your personal account, this would just say Google Hangouts. But because this is an institutional account, it says Hangouts Meet. So that's going to set up the same sort of meet that we had with you by department. So I want to click on that. After I do that, you're going to see I have the Hangouts Meet here, and I have the link here. So this is a link that I'll show you later, but this is a link that you can copy into your classroom if you want, just to make doubly sure that they're able to join. I also, down here, there is a way that they could join by phone number if they wanted to, but that would require that they have a service that allows them to call a US number. But they could call my number, put in that PIN, and they'd be able to join that way as well. But I wouldn't worry about that. So once I've added this video conference here, I need to determine what my time is going to be. So I can choose when on this day that I want it to be, and I can choose a particular time that I want it to happen. So this is March 18th, that's the day that I selected, and I can decide when this is going to be. Obviously I don't want it at 2 in the morning, so I could say I'm going to have it from, let's say from 1 to 2 that day. So when I do that, as soon as 2 o'clock hits, the Hangout, this Hangout is going to end. And what's nice is if I set this up through Google Hangouts, I'm automatically seen as the administrator. Whereas if you do it from the website, it can be a little tricky sometimes if the students come in before you or if you don't set it up correctly. So I set this from 1 to 2 o'clock. And I'm going to say, let's say presentation review. So I'm going to press save. Now, I'm not done with all my options again, so I'm going to click on this, press edit. And the next thing that I want to do to make sure that students receive this, by default, it's going to send out a notification 10 minutes before. It's going to send a notification through calendar to their phones. It's also going to send them an email. So if I want to modify those, where I go to add notification, I can add as many of these notifications as I want. I can add them at different times. But the first one here, this is a notification through calendar that they'll receive. So they'll say you have a calendar event. They can go through there and they can enter the Hangout that way. And right now it's set for 10 minutes before it starts. So you could add a bunch of these notifications. You could add one the day before if you wanted to, or an hour before. But this notification goes through calendar. So they will see it, but there is a possibility that they could have those notifications turned off if they don't want to be annoyed by them. So the other option that I can add here is by email. Now that's going to send an email out to anybody that's attached to this calendar. So you don't need to add students individually to this event because they're already a part of this calendar. So that will send out an email notification as well. And again, I can add as many of these notifications as I want. You don't really need to worry about any of these other details. But after that, if I press save, now I have this event right here. And for you, if you remember the code, which is right here, you can enter using that code. So if you go to meet.google.com and you put in this code, or you just click on this, this link, and I press Join Hangouts Meet. So I go to my calendar and I press that link. That will send me to the Hangout. What I can also do, just to make triply sure that the students get it, if they don't listen to the notification, if they don't read their email, you can also copy this link. And if I go to my classroom, I could create a notification for the whole class, and I could add that as a link there. So if I added that as a link there, they're going to see class video meeting, and I can put a notification saying whatever I want to say. This is going to be from this time to this time, check your emails, blah, blah, blah. But that will be, I can post that and it'll be on the stream and they'll get a notification through Classroom. I can also attach this as a link to an assignment. So if I wanted to do that, if there was going to be something that they had to do during that video conference, I could add that as a link in one of my assignments. So if I were to create an assignment, I can also add that way. I could add that here, for example, and it would do the exact same thing. Now, this will work exactly as I've shown you for 11th and 12th grade because there are only one section per each of those grades. If you have two sections and you want to set up a meeting with both sections at the same time, what I need to do is click on my event. So this is the presentation review that I have on the 18th. And I click Options, and I can copy to a different calendar if I want to. So this one right now you can see is purple, and purple is TOK 11th. If I wanted to copy this to another calendar, I'd press copy to TOK 12. It's going to have all of the same settings as I had for the other one. When I do that, now I can see that there are two here that are now on both calendars. So if you have two different sections, that's how you need to set it up. And it is automatically going to send notifications, at least the way that I've set it up, through calendar and through email as well. And so that's how you set it up. But I would suggest, at least in the beginning, that you do all of those things. So when you set this up, I would do it through calendar, just to avoid complications, because it's automatically going to send those notifications and you don't need to worry about doing that. And it just makes it very easy for them to join. And then if you want to ensure that they see this just because they're familiarized with using, many of them are familiarized with using calendar, but they're obviously familiarized with using Google Classroom. So if you were to, again, click on the event, go next to Hangouts Meet here, and copy this link, then I could copy that and I could paste it into their classroom as well. And going through Google Calendar really is the most effective way to set up a Hangouts Meet. Now, as far as the students will see this, if they enter their calendar, they're going to see the same thing that you do, except in the case for 11th grade, they're just going to see the purple events that I have here. But if they were to click on this, or if they were to enter through their email, they would see that it says you've been invited to a Hangouts Meet, and click the link below to join that Hangouts Meet. So if I click on here, and this is one way that you guys could enter, if I click on here and I press Join Hangouts Meet from my calendar, the one that I created, it's going to take me to the Hangouts Meet. So once you have joined in here, right now nobody's there obviously, when I join here, the default setting when your students enter is that they're going to have their cameras and their audio turned on. And unless you're meeting with them specifically and that's something that you require, you should make it a stipulation that students turn that off, because if you have a lot of students in here and they all have their microphones on, it can get, there could be a lot of noise and feedback issues that you might have. So students on the bottom of their screen can turn off their audio and they can turn off their camera. You can see that mine's off because I'm using the video recording software right now. Then a couple other options that are here. Your students shouldn't have problems joining, but if they do, this is the link that you would have shared through Classroom, and this is also the link that they have in their Google Calendars and through Gmail if you send it all of those ways. Then, as you guys probably saw before, a couple things that can help you during your meeting. When you are the administrator, if you click on People, when all of your students join, you will have the option to mute them or to turn their video off if they don't do that automatically. But I would just give the students the instructions that they need to turn those off when they enter the classroom, unless you need them on for some reason. And then they can chat with you through this chat, and when you're doing your presentation, you can talk to them through here. They could ask questions through here. A couple other options that you have on the bottom right-hand side, you can turn on captions, and when I do that, you can see it's not perfect, but you can see that it is recording what I'm saying. And that can be helpful for students if they don't, if there are breaks in your connection or they can't hear you very well for a certain part of the presentation. They can look down here and it records what you're saying. Then next to that is the Present Now button, and if you were to press that, I'm not going to press it right now because I'm doing a screen recording, but if I press Present Now, I can have the option of either presenting my entire screen or a part of my screen, a window. And that's how you can share presentations with them. You can share anything you want that's on your computer. Videos, PDFs, stuff that you want them to read, corrections with their work. Like, they see what you see. Then on the bottom right-hand side, these three little buttons, you'll see that the first option here that I have, it may be in a different location for you, but the first option is to record a meeting. Remember that if you are going to record the meetings, have the students turn off their cameras. We don't want to be recording the students at home. So if you're going to record the meeting, that can be very helpful for students that are unable to join. And when you record this meeting, if you've set this up to your calendar and it sees you as the administrator, it's going to save that meeting in your Google Drive. Then some of the other options here, if I press this to change layout, that's just going to change the way that I see everybody involved in the chat. So I have a couple different options there. Spotlight's just going to focus on one person. This is going to be a couple different people. And this is going to be whoever's speaking with the other people that are in the chat on the right-hand side. And one other thing you can do, I can't do it right now because it's just me in here, but some of the options that I have, if you see that little pin button, if I click on this, that's going to lock the screen on my face. So if I don't want the screen changing from user to user to user, which it won't if you have their audio and their video turned off, then I can press that pin button and it will lock it on a particular screen if that's something that I want. Then I have a captions button here as well. I can use a phone for audio, but again, you need to, if I use the phone for audio, you need to be able to dial the US if you're going to do that, or these countries, so we're not there. And in settings, if you're having a problem with your video or your audio, come in here and it may have selected some other option that's not what you want. So you can check your audio and you can check your video here. Anyway, if you have any problems or if you encounter any problems when you're setting this up or if you have any other questions, let me know. But for now, good luck with the Hangouts meet, and I'll talk to you guys later.